Good morning. I see no announcement sheet, so I guess that means I've got nothing to say today. Actually, we do have some things coming up, and one is it's the War of the Roses right now. You know, York and Lancaster are both red rose and white rose cities, and so we have a studio in each, and how the War of the Roses works is you add your name to that chalkboard, and every time you take class, put a little strike beside your name, and the studio with the greatest percentage of participation wins. And I'll tell you this, the York people are very competitive when it comes to the War of the Roses, so they've beaten you the past couple times. You might want to not let them have that glory again. Let's get started. Let's start in child's pose. Thank you for coming today. It's a beautiful morning for yoga. A little extra humidity in the air always works to our advantage. So toes together, open your knees really wide so that you're comfortable. Even a little wider until you feel pretty good stretching forward. And then with every single pose we take, the request is that you give yourself permission to customize the pose. So I'll tell you how I would customize this one for myself. I'd fold my arms and put my forehead on my forearms. My head doesn't feel that great reaching all the way down to the ground. But you could do things like opening your toes a little wider, bringing them closer. Do whatever it takes to create a pose that feels just like the right one for your body. And now that you're here, start to create slow, steady, deep, rhythmic breathing. Focus your listening on the sound that your breath is making. We are fortunate enough to have lots of assistants in the room this morning. And as they come your way, know that they are just joining with you in partnership for a moment in your pose. You're not doing anything wrong. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth. Let your whole breath go. And with your next inhale, lift your body up into downward facing dog. When you arrive in downward facing dog, begin exploring. Bend one knee, straighten one knee. I like to tippy-toe, and then while I'm tippy-toeing, bend my knees to hover down at the height of my ankles and stretch out my feet. Feet can get to being such a ball of tightness, so I like to start right away by stretching them out. Was talking to a man who took class with me that Matt taught this morning at 7. We were both saying, we don't even care anymore what the poses look like. We just know that we need them to feel good so we feel good the rest of the day. So I invite you to adopt that attitude to customize every pose and make it feel good. With your next inhale, raise your right leg up into the air behind you, stretch it up and back, then bend your knee and bring your heel to your hip. Turn your hips open to the right side of the room. Wake up the foot of your lifted leg, roll your ankle around, wiggle your toes. When you push your hands deep down into the mat, then you have the opportunity to reach your knee up and back. So push your hands down and lift your knee up and back. Then return your foot to the floor. Now the other side. When you inhale, lift your left leg up. See if it could just float because you did it with the inhale. Then bend your left knee. Heel to your hip, turn your hips open to the left side of the room. Push your hands down and reach your knee up and back. So opposite, with your hands pushing, you pull out of your wrist. There's no weight in your wrist if you can create it like that. Then return your left foot to the floor, look at your hands and walk forward. Take your feet all the way up to your hands and open them, hip width distance. Make them parallel to one another. You can measure and make sure that there are 2 fists that fit between your feet. With an inhale, lift up halfway and stretch your body out of your hips, like you're pulling your chest forward to the front of the room. Then exhale and hang down. Walk your hands off of your mat to the right side. So onto the floor to the right of your right foot. Keep your 2 feet planted strong. Now concentrate a stretching sensation into the left side of your body. One rib peeling away from the last. Let your side body open up. It'll be an allowing, a letting go action. Now to the other side. Walk your hands to the left. Stabilize your hips over top of your ankles, and then stretch out your right side. Breathe in and experience that the whole area fills up, and then as you exhale, ease. Your effort is ease. Come back to the center, hang. Fold your arms, hold the opposite elbow, and then allow the weight of your head, the weight of your arms, to drag you down closer to the earth. Keep the back of your knees soft. That's it, and just your hips right on top of your ankles. Breathe right here. Now here, in this forward folding pose, I invite you to turn on your curiosity. Turn on your listening. Let the teacher in the room for you be the listening to your own body. Listen to the way you distribute the weight in your feet. Listen to the places in your body that are asking for a little bit more space. And then be responsible, be in action, respond to those requests. Just keep breathing, stay here in your forward fold. The very first class I ever took with my teacher, Baron, we did this pose for, I think it felt like 5 minutes at least. Seems like not a very big deal pose when you just hold it for a breath or two. But at 5 minutes, everything was shaking. Allow your hamstrings, the muscles in the back of your upper leg, to open up, to get a little longer. Then fingertips to the ground, walk your feet together. If you feel that your hamstrings are really beginning to open up, you might like some extra support with your hands on your thighs. With your next inhale, come all the way up to standing. All the way up, stretch your arms overhead, reach up out of your feet, up to the ceiling and back, stretch up and back, and then as you exhale, hands in prayer position and pause. Open your eyes. Set your gaze on one place at the front of the room. Now 3 times, we'll chant Om together. Take a deep breath in. Inhale, reach up for the ceiling, stretch up out of your feet. Exhale, fold down to the floor. With an inhale, lift up halfway and stretch your body long. Exhale, step back, high push-up position to low push-up, look forward. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and stretch your hips up and back. Deep breath in. Exhale. One more time. Deep breath in, long breath. Exhale, empty your breath, nothing left. Then jump up to your hands. You can step as well. Inhale, halfway lift, stretch long. Fold down as you exhale. Stand, reach for the ceiling, up and back. Reach for the ceiling behind you. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift. High plank to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Use these breaths to connect to the people around you. Sync your breath up to the other breathers in the room. 1 more. Exhale and empty. Look to your hands, move up to your hands. Halfway lift and fold down. Stand, breathe in. Strong legs. Reach up out of your strong legs. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift. High plank to low. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Full breath in. Sink your heels down. Exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale. Push the knuckle of your pointer finger down. 1 more breath. Exhale, empty your breath, look to your hands, move up to your hands. Halfway lift. fold. Chair pose, squat back, reach your arms up and out, fold to the floor. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, that's the name of the high push-up to the low push-up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot between your hands and lunge. Arms overhead, back foot flat. Reach up and back, flatten your back foot to the floor. Hands down, low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side, step forward, lunge. This is called warrior one. Reach up and back. Hands down, low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Now breathe here. See if you can connect with other people in your breathing. Listen to your breath, the breath of the room. One more. Empty. Move up to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose, sit back, reach your arms up so far back you might fall. Now fold to the floor. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, lunge, big lunge. Press the back edge of your back foot down as you reach up and back. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side step, lunge, big lunge. Arms up. Hands down, low push up. Upward dog. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and then exhale through your mouth, a sigh. Breath in, a sigh, and let the weight of your head just hang down heavy. Last breath just here. Empty, look to your hands, move up to your hands. When you arrive, halfway lift and fold down. Chair pose, sit back. Arms up, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. With an inhale, raise your right leg up and back. When you exhale, bend your knee, bring your heel to your hip. Turn your hips open to the right side of the room. Watch underneath of your left armpit to the floor and flip over, so let your right foot continue to travel over until it lands on the floor. 2 powerful, firm feet on the ground. Reach to the ceiling and then to the brick wall in front of you. Keep your feet firmly pressing down and then come into listening. Explore where you could use a little more stretch, a little more lightness. No weight in your bottom shoulder. Good. Gently float back over side plank. Put your right hand down, face to the left side of the room. Stack your feet up, either one on top of the other or one in front of the other. We'll hold this pose for 3 more breaths. So choose to stay exactly as you are or intensify the pose. Keep pushing down with your right hand and get lighter in your right armpit. Just 1 more breath. Look up and reach. Now gracefully, hands to the floor, low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Raise your right leg into the air behind you. As you exhale, bring your knee to your nose and hover. Step your foot between your hands for crescent lunge. This lunge, you're on the ball of your back foot, arms overhead and your hips square to the front of the room. Take a breath or 2 to create your pose. One place to take your curiosity is into your back foot. In your back foot, shift your heel toward the left side of the room and bring weight into your baby toe. Once you've created that, lunge down deeply. When your legs are deep like this, you have the ability to take a big back bend, so keep your legs deep. Now pull yourself as though you're pulling yourself out of your legs up to the ceiling. Look to the ceiling, and then look for the wall behind you. Breathe. Take 3 more breaths here. Deep legs, deep stretching. Just 2 more. Pull the pit of your belly in and up. Last time, reach back. Now hands to prayer position and look forward. Twist toward Africa, anchor your left elbow outside of your right knee. Once your elbow is anchored, then lighten the load of your belly on your front thigh. You can open your arms, bottom arm to the floor and your top arm to the ceiling. Activate your back leg, really press your hamstring up to the ceiling. Wrap your top arm around behind your back. You can stay with your arms halfway bound like this. You might want to be holding a strap in your right hand. You could fully bind by reaching outside of your front leg and holding hands with your top arm outside of your left hip. Wherever you've chosen to create your arms, let's take 3 more breaths. When you inhale, lift your body up a little off of your thigh. When you exhale, turn a little more. Here's your last breath on this side. When you exhale, keep twisting, softening your back. Inhale, spin around to warrior 2, face the left. That's a good one, huh? Lunge down. Point your front knee toward the brick wall and bend it deeply. If you're pretty tall and you've got long legs, take up a lot of space. Keep coming, keep coming. Bend your knee, that's it. Deep lunge, deep lunge. So take a lunge that you maybe aren't so sure you can hold the whole time. And know that when you get to the end of your ability to stay in the pose, you could straighten your leg for a beat and then go back down. And in that way, you'll build strength and flexibility. Extended side angle. Put your right fingertips on the block or floor at the arch of your front foot. At first, just reach your left fingertips to the ceiling. Let your hips soften. Reaching for a block can make it a lot more possible than the floor. Last few breaths, turn your palm toward the windows. Can you just suck your arm bone deep into your back? Then reach for the bricks and look for the ceiling. One more breath, look for the ceiling. Lunge, Chris. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. We had to wait for Chris. Talk to him about it afterwards. Upward facing dog, he's just down there in the back row. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in and exhale. Raise your left leg into the air behind you. Bend your knee. Heel to your hips, turn your hips open to the left. Look underneath of your right armpit for the floor. Flip all the way over, land with your foot landing softly. 2 feet pressing down. First is the reach for the ceiling to really pull you up out of your bottom wrist and shoulder. Wrap your shoulder blade under your back, then reach forward. See the difference? A little easier on your shoulder joint. Strong legs, you'll need strong legs. Then reach for the ceiling. Float to side plank. Left hand down, face Africa. All the way over you go. That's it. If you feel heavy in your left shoulder, that's the first thing we want to make a difference in. Push into the floor so your shoulder gets open and light. Just hug your shoulders down your back. Last breath, look for the ceiling. Reach up, reach out of your bottom armpit. 2 hands to the ground, gracefully, chaturanga. That's a good one, huh? Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Raise your left leg into the air. Stretch it up and back. As you exhale, knee to your nose and step forward, left leg down. Crescent lunge, that's the ball of your back foot, arms up. Be purposeful in creating your foundation, so shift your attention to your feet to begin. Your front foot, let it spread out, let it melt wide onto your mat. Your back foot, use the whole ball of your foot, and then square your hips to the front of the room. Just suck your thigh bones into your pelvis. Deep, deep legs. Now 3 breaths to keep your legs deep, and pull yourself up out of your legs. 2 more breaths, look for the wall behind you. Your limitation is when your fingers are touching the floor back there. Hands to prayer position, look forward. Some people do that, you know. Twist toward the left, right elbow, left knee. Anchor right there, just there. That's it. You might want to prepare with your strap nearby. If you're using your strap, it'll be in your left hand. Open your arms, bottom arm down, top arm up. You might like to have your strap in your left hand. Wrap your top arm behind your back to halfway bind. The half bind might be the right place for you today. If it's the full bind, reach underneath of your left leg, grab the tail of the strap or hold hands. Now to work with the pose, belly up off your thigh. That's the hard part for me. And then turn your chest to the ceiling. Lighten the load so it's deep legs but not deep heavy hips. Last one. Whole exhale, you stay. Inhale, spin around for warrior two. Up and around. So Brittany, you could just hold on right here to support her going around. Big deep lunge. Really challenge yourself with this warrior two lunge. Create a stretching in your back inner thigh. Get really curious about your back leg and your back hip in this pose. If you don't experience a challenge in your back leg and back hip, make some adjustments to create it that you have a challenge in your back leg and back hip. Big deep lunge. Remember, you don't have to stay there the whole time. If you need a breather, you can straighten your leg from time to time. But challenge yourself. Go where you don't think you can hold it. Do you like how I have a lot to say while you're holding a lunge? Extended side angle. So that's definitely a spot where if I'm really going for something new, I might take a quick breather and straighten and then take the extended side angle. Fingertips to the block or the floor. Take the lunge really down deep here, really down deep. Once you get the lunge down, the last couple of breaths, keep working to open up your right hip. Turn it open, turn your ribs open, pull your belly in. Here's the last breath here. Chest turning, ribs turning, stretch up and open. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Stretch your lowest abdominal muscles. Downward facing dog. You might need a sigh here. Take a deep breath in and exhale. One more deep breath in. Exhale and empty your breath. Look to your hands and move up to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose. Sit back and reach your arms up. Then bring your hands into prayer position and twist toward Africa. You might like to grab your strap and hold it in your right hand. Left arm to the floor outside of your right knee or between your knees. Right arm in the air with the strap. Wrap your right arm behind your back so that your shoulder is really rolling back. Then with your left arm, reach through and hold your hand or hold the tail of the strap. Make sure the bind happens outside of your left hip instead of between your cheeks. I know, it's descriptive though. Deep squats, right knee squatting as much as your left. Now the last 3 breaths. Chest up and turn it to the ceiling. Make your back get soft as you exhale. 2 more, chest up, deep squat, and turn. Length on your inhales. And then turn on your exhale. Unwind, hang to the floor and lift your hips. Those bound twists for me and my shoulders, and I think a lot of people express their upper shoulders, they get really tight. Those are like magic for your shoulders. Open your feet hip width distance and hook your big toes. With an inhale, lift up halfway, but without locking your knees. Can you keep the back of your knees soft? And with an exhale, chest to your toes. Just stretch it down, chest to your toes. Be aware of the choices you're making in your foundation. That's your feet. Keep the weight even across, push right into here. Yeah, keep the weight even across the whole bottom surface of your feet. I feel like this one's a crowd pleaser, so I don't want to skip it. Release your toes, put your fingertips on the ground underneath of your shoulders. Keep your big toes in one line. Was I mistaken? Lift your right foot up to the right side of the room. So toes in one line, right foot to the right side of the room. Lift it up. As high as you can. I like that teamwork. If your neighbor's foot's not quite as high as you think it could go, feel free to help them out with that. If it feels kind of easy, it might be that your foot's back behind you. Keep it straight out to the side. Straight out to the side so that if you had a neighbor close by, you could sit your foot on their hip. Whoop, right there. Lift it a little bit higher, and then foot to the floor. Shake your hips out. See what I mean by a crowd pleaser? Ready for the left side? Lift your left leg up. It's only when I tell you things about how nicely that's sculpting your cheeks and your legs that you really get willing to do it, right? Amazing strength, though, in the side of your hips to be built with this pose. Be aware of a foot that wants to creep a little bit behind you. Don't go sideways now with your torso. Lift it up, Dan. Foot to the floor, shake your hips out. See, everybody's happy after that one. Feet together, squat back, reach your arms up into chair. Right up into chair pose, sit deep. Then hands to prayer position, twist to the left. First, anchor the twist. Before you move on, really get the twist, 2 knees equally bending, a spine that's getting long, because anchoring and lengthening are keys for twisting. And then open your arms. Right arm down, left arm up with a strap in hand if that's best for you. Wrap your top arm around behind your back. Bind the pose. So whether you're using a strap or your hands, bind the pose outside of your right hip and squat. Every time you inhale, get long. Every time you exhale, turn a little bit more. You're going to like this. You're doing really well, Roxy. So I want to make sure you get everything out of it you possibly can. See, she likes it. Marcy's snickering over there. Last breath, get really long. Turn your chest to the ceiling. And then unwind and hang. There you go. Hands down, butt up. Tuck your hands underneath of your feet so you're standing on your palms, and then knead your palms, your wrists with your toes, wiggle them. You want to get your whole hand under there if you can, because this is a nice release for a wrist that's been busy doing a lot of chaturangas for you and is about to do wheel poses in a little while. A movement toward a halfway lift will teach your legs to engage. We'll stretch out your wrists a little bit more in a different way. Remove your hands from beneath your feet. Hook the big toe of your right foot with the middle and index finger of your right hand. Left fingertips on the ground under your shoulder, and lift your right foot up in the air. Similar to what we did before, but new. Foot up in the air. Have a little extra help with your hand, but also you can't take your foot back. Sometimes it's comforting when I tell you the first time I was asked to do this, I couldn't even get my foot off the floor. Lift it as high as you can. Ease in every part of your body that's not required for this work. Could you take your concentration to the place where there's ease and focus there? Foot down, shake your hips out. Now the other side, Left fingertips around your left big toe, pick your foot up. That's it, foot up in the air. Balance on your right fingertips. You may need a little softening at the back of your standing knee. That's it, go to your breath. Your breath is really the partner. Your exhale will teach your body to let go. Exactly, great tool, and you're completely in charge of that tool. Foot a little bit higher, as high as you can, and then to the floor. Shake your hips out. Shake your hips out, shake your hips out. Open your hands wide. Set them really wide on your mat, so maybe it's even your baby finger hanging off to the side. And then hips really high in the air. Bend your elbows. We're going for a different kind of crow pose. Instead of balancing on the back of your arms, put your knees outside of your shoulders and squeeze your knees in like they're tweezers and get them as close to your shoulders as you can. So they'll squeeze in instead of resting on the back of your arms. Squeeze in. Go for it, crow pose. Knees outside of your arms. Squeeze your knees a little more together once you're in the pose. Push down with your hands and rise up with your ribs. Get light. Again, push down with your hands. Rise up with your ribs. We'll do it one more time. Push down with your hands. Rise up with your ribs. Chest forward. Chaturanga. Chest forward. Concentrate on chest forward. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. That's it. Deep, deep breath in. And exhale. Full breath in. Exhale. One more here. Deep breath in. Exhale, empty your breath. Look to your hands, move up to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. When you inhale, stand up and reach your arms overhead. Stretch them up. all the way up, like a clean slate. You're creating a clean slate. Then eagle pose. Wrap your right elbow under your left, twist your forearms, and then come palm to palm. Squat down, right leg over your left leg. There you go. Keep your eyes just fixed on one point. Create breath in the room. Keep your arms bound as you have them. Unwrap your right leg and reach it back for airplane pose. Never touch the floor. Just take it right back into airplane pose. Keep your arms bound at first. Drop your right hip down a little bit more and lift your left hip higher. Now fingertips, stretch them to the front of the room. Then unwind your arms, reach back for airplane pose. Airplane in your arms and airplane in your legs. Chest up high. Activate your back leg. Really activate it. Now pause, hands to prayer position. Push down with your standing foot so you feel like you become a little bit lighter in your left hip. Once you achieve lightness, turn and face Africa, half moon pose. Left fingertips down to the block or floor under your shoulder. Right arm up to the ceiling. Lift your back leg really high with your back leg, and active. When your back leg is dangling back there, it makes things challenging. If you think you're gonna fall, the key to not falling is to stretch a little bit more. That's it, reach. You've got it. Flex this, Ashley, yes. Belly in, eyes up to the ceiling, look up and stretch. Step to warrior two, all the way back, warrior two. You've got it, warrior two, deep lunge. When you're in warrior two, your hips, your ribs, and your shoulders face the side of the room. Face Africa. That's it, face Africa. Cartwheel your hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take one deep breath in. Exhale, empty your breath, look to your hands, move up to your hands. Once you arrive, halfway lift and fold down. With an inhale, stand up, reach your arms up. Left side eagle pose. Left arm under. Left leg over. Wrap your toes around. That's it. Slide down into your squat. Slow, steady breathing. This is an amazing opportunity. The pose is pretty still to connect to the breathing in the room, or if there isn't enough breathing for you, you don't think there's enough in the room, just add it. Ribs in, ribs in. Pull your front ribs into your body. That's it. Keep your arms bound. Unwrap your top leg, reach it back. So it should be that you're standing on your right leg and your left leg is reaching back to airplane pose. So you create opposition. Back foot, press it back. Front fingertips, reach them forward. So opposite directions. Foot back, fingers forward. Foot back, fingers forward. That's it. Unwrap your arms and reach them back to airplane arms. All the way back, and then chest up. Lighten your chest, chest up. Push down with your standing foot. Rise up in your standing hip. Make space there. Half moon pose. Hands to prayer, then turn toward the left. Right arm down, left arm up. You're working towards stacking one hip on top of the other. Stretch out of your center point. So arms stretching, legs stretching, eyes up to the ceiling. Breathe here, breathe here. You have it, stretch. Stretch more when you feel the wiggle coming. Step back, warrior two. Land in warrior two. Hips are new. Standing is an amazing way for opening your hips. Big deep lunge. A long stance. Give yourself a long stance. Another breath. Then hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take one deep breath in. Exhale, empty your breath, look to your hands, move up to your hands. Arrive and halfway lift. Fold down. Feet together. Come all the way up to standing and stretch. Then hug your right knee into your chest. Pause. Arrange yourself so that your hips are level. Your bottom foot is standing heel behind your middle toe. Continue to hold to your knee or hold the outside of your right foot and extend your leg in front of you. So it's knee or foot. Stand tall. If you experience that you're leaning back and pressing your knee into your hands and it would fall if you left go, stand tall. Suck your thigh bone back into your body and stand tall. Open your leg toward the right. Look to the left. Chest up. You've got it. Bring your foot forward, switch hands on it. So left hand now to your right knee or foot. Reach to the back of the room, dancing Shiva. Come forward, hug your knee into your chest, stand tall, and put your foot on the floor. Switch sides, left side. Hug your left knee into your chest. Be meticulous with your foundation, that's your right foot. Line it up, heel behind your middle toe, and keep the back of your knee just a micro bend, soft. Level your hips. Yes, that was a good move. Hold the outside of your left foot with your left hand and extend, or stay with your knee. Create it so it seems for you like your thigh bone is just resting back into the pocket of your hip. There's like a casualness or an ease about that. Then open your leg to the left. Keep pulling it in. Stay collecting your body into your midline. Your leg, your torso. Keep collecting into your midline. Come forward, switch sides. Right hand, left knee. Turn, look, reach to the back of the room. Opposites. Where in your body right now do you experience that there is not enough space? Could you, with your breathing, with your intention, allow a little more space? Come forward, hug your knee into your chest, stand tall, and replace your right foot on the floor. Now, I believe you all have a strap. If you don't, we have straps up here. Pick up your strap for dancer's pose. Flex your right ankle. With your left foot, stand up, heel behind your middle toe. Lasso your right ankle. Then with effort and with your breath, work your arms forward, one elbow at a time, and bring your hands together behind you and just pause. Right now I'm thinking to let my right quad muscle stretch, to soften my left knee, to press my foot up and back and create space in my lower back. Create a pose that's both challenging and has an intelligence, like you're creating the pose so that you're looking for where you need more space. Customize it. Soften areas that are overly working. Add fortification to areas that feel unstable. One more breath, and then gracefully step out. Just one breath, switch sides. Here's a strap if you want one then. Left side, you're welcome. Left side. Flex your left ankle. This pose to me was a pose that using the strap gave me access to so many other things. It opened up my shoulders. It's a pose that when asked to do it, I'm thankful somebody asked me, but it's rarely me that asks me to do it. If I'm practicing alone, I tend to want to skip this one, but it's the one that really makes my practice. You feel the stretch in your lifted legs, quad muscle, the front of your thigh? Amazing stretching there. Once you notice that stretching, be aware of how much, if you pull your belly in and stretch your waist long, the stretching intensifies. Gently come out. Switch sides. Put as much focus in the coming out of the pose as you do in the holding it. Right side again. Right side again. So lasso your right ankle. Flex it so you have a really strong hook. There's nothing more, I'd say, like scary in yoga class than when your foundation is lost. And the hook of your strap around your ankle is one of your foundations. If that slides, that can be really unsettling. So stay hooked. Eyes just focused on one point. Make your waist long, really, really long. This is a pose like crescent lunge that works with square hips. Drop your right hip down. You've got it. Now come out of the pose with integrity, intentionality. Switch sides. Switch sides, keep your gaze fixed and really stay in your vinyasa, your flow, as you move from side to side. That was really the beginning of learning how to be in listening and being present for me. In the moments where I would normally mentally just go on break, in my practice, I learned to stay in focus and be purposeful about the transitions. And it really taught me how to stay in greater listening, because it seems like life is only transition. So try that now. Stay in listening and intentionality. Come out of the pose and stand in Tadasana, feet together. Arms by your side, eyes fixed on one place. Like the strap, that's one of the pieces that doesn't matter. Just drop it to the side and come right into your pose. You are listening. And in that way, you're the teacher. You're creating your own practice. Next is tree pose, and you have options. So tree as you traditionally know it, sole of your right foot, left inner thigh, or tree with half lotus. It's where the sole of your foot faces the ceiling, your knee is working toward dropping to the floor. The right foot is in position. As a building block to something later, wrap your right arm around behind your back as far as you can, as far as you can. So your foot might be on your thigh, and you'll never reach it in this way, so just reach your hand behind your back. If it's in half lotus, someday you'll reach around behind your back and hold your opposite foot. And then with that intended bind in place, reach your left arm up to the ceiling and look up. Dana, tail down and belly up. So now it's intentionality. Step out of the pose and switch sides. Left foot in tree pose. It's your left arm that goes behind your back this time. So wrap your left arm round behind your back. Pull the pit of your belly in tree pose. It's tempting to let your belly spill forward as your lower back sways. Keep your belly pulling in and up. And then your right arm into the air. Left hand, that one's aiming to someday hold on to toes. Right arm reach up. There you go. Yeah, very nice. Eyes up, stretch. And then step out. Come to the front of your mat and squat down. Reach your arms up as you breathe. Sit back into your chair squat. Arms reaching up. Way back and down, as though you may fall back, reaching for a chair that you thought was there. You want to keep your feet parallel to one another. That's it. Now together, create that there's breath in this room. Let's go for 5. That's it. Sit really deep. With each exhale, create some softening with your skin. With the last one, really reach with your fingertips, then fold to the floor and bring ease. Halfway lift, stretch your body long. Chaturanga, step back or jump back. High push up to low, then upward facing dog. Strong legs, you need strong legs. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward to warrior 1, so that's back foot flat and strong. Reach your arms up. Turn left to warrior 2. Big lunge. Open your feet far apart. Big lunge. Can't be too far apart right now. Flip your front palm up. Stay down in your legs. Reverse the warrior. Deep legs. With this reverse, you're pulling your torso up out of your pelvis. Really creating stretch. Side body as long as it can be. Straighten your front leg. Side body from your toes to your fingertips even longer. Triangle pose. Fingertips to the bricks. Hips to the back of the room. Put your fingertips on the block behind your front ankle or the floor. Now push down on the ball of the big toe of your front foot. Really push that. That's a great spot to focus and anchor. You can wrap your top arm around behind your back, and instead of letting your shoulder roll forward, continue to ease it open behind you. Ease it open behind you. Give yourself several breaths here. Really some time to look for where your body would like more space, to respond with an exhale and allow more space to be the result. You're the best teacher in the room right now. Left fingertips to the ceiling, come up to standing. Turn your feet so that they're parallel to one another. Hands on your hips. Lift up high with an inhale and fold down forward all the way down. At first, just hands to the ground and stretch. A little softening in the backs of your knees. Walk your fingertips to your left foot. You can point your left toes to the back left corner of the room now. Bend your left knee and pivot on your right heel. Point your right toes to the ceiling and squat as low as you can. So here's how it goes. It's just a side inner thigh squat. So you'll just want to squat your hips down toward your left heel, right toes up to the ceiling. Maybe hands on the floor or hands to prayer position, but create stretching on your right inner thigh. Might be tricky or awkward the first couple of times that you take this positioning, but such an amazing relief, the stretch that it creates. You can not touch the floor, or you can use the floor. Now keep yourself as low as you can possibly stay. Fingers on the floor or not. If they're not, then you'll want to stretch to the corner of the room, stretch and come to the other side. So now your hips are squatting down at your right heel. Can you point your left toes up to the ceiling? Just pivot on your left heel. Butt down really, really low. So it's important that first hips go low, second hands come off of the floor if they're going to come off. When I was first experiencing this, I found it to be really awkward. One thing that gave me access to finding it more deeply is to put a hand behind and a hand in front. That let me really squat down more. So be an explorer. Explore for how you can get the most result from your stretch. Really target and pinpoint is what I mean by the most, that you really are able to target. Okay, on your own, visit each side 3 more times. You can flow from side to side, and the flowing is quite amazing in your hips. When you flow from side to side, see if you can keep it so that your tush is just skimming along the floor instead of coming up high and back down low. For some of you, coming up high might be really needed, might be a necessity. Pivot on your heel, point your toes. It just really sends the stretch home. After the last one, just come back to center in the forward fold. Back to center in the forward fold, feet parallel. Stay in the forward fold. You have options. You can, this one you always give me the dumbfounded look on, but I'm going to persevere. You can hold the strap and let's do it this way. I'm going to borrow the strap. Can, in your forward fold, hang the strap over your lower back. So you can see how I've got the strap hanging over my lower back, and then behind my knees I can see the tail of the strap. Feet parallel. Bend your knees. Walk your hands back as far as you can get in there between your legs. Then reach behind you and hold onto the strap with one arm. Add the other arm. Once your hands are holding onto the strap or holding hands together behind your lower back, hands on the strap, or holding hands behind your lower back. Your knees are bent. Create the bind. Then you can straighten your legs. The pose is called guillotine pose. Isn't it funny? You kind of feel that way, like you're being chopped in half. Walk through with your hands, all the way through your feet with your hands. Walk your hands back here, then reach through here with your hands. all the way up for the strap, for the strap. Keep it anchored over your lower back, then straighten your legs. We should have bent more. Shorten the strap. Now straighten. That's it. Got it? The reason I'm persevering on this particular pose is when you start getting the hang of it, amazing release in your lower back. All right, lasso your tush. Get rid of that strap. There you go. Hands to your hips, come up to standing. Turn to face the front of the room. Step your back foot in just enough that you can almost get your hips square. So if I had my foot behind my front foot, it wouldn't work. I need some separation. Now work with your leg strength and your feet on the ground to dial your hips more square forward. Left arm overhead, reach it down your back. You may want your strap in hand. Right arm up your back, hold hands, or the strap. Lift up high and hinge forward. That guillotine pose is part of a whole family of on the floor poses that make an amazing release of your lower back. So starting to get this sense of reaching through legs so we can someday approach those poses on the floor, because the release in your lower back is quite exceptional. There are a lot of building blocks. It takes a lot of working on twisting and binding in your shoulders to have the fluidity in your shoulders for those poses too. All right, come all the way up. You can release the strap, right hand to your right hip, left arm in the air. Lift up high, hinge forward. Hips go back, then the left hand to the block or floor, front and center. Twisting triangle. Left hand down, right arm out to the side and start to turn to the right side of the room. Twisting triangle. All the way. Everything is easier in yoga class when you breathe. It gives you an opportunity for ease to come into the practice. When you exhale, you can soften. Wrap your top arm around behind your back to halfway bind the pose. 3 more breaths now. Think about getting long first, looking to this front corner of the room rather than the back corner, then twisting. 2 more, long in your belly side of your spine. Last breath here, space. Okay, unwind, hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Stretch back. All the way back into downward facing dog. Take 1 deep breath in and exhale. Left side, step forward, warrior 1. Up with your hands, reach up, then warrior 2. Big, deep, bold, lunging warrior 2. Go down in the pose, activate your hips, activate your legs. Turn your hips to the side of the room. There you go. See, the action is a little different. Left palm up, reverse the warrior. That's it. Reach up out of your legs. Keep that left knee tracking to the front of the room. Keep opening. That's it. Opening. Tuck this hip under. I know. Tug of war, tug of war. That's it. Straighten your front leg. Reach up and back. Stretch. Triangle pose. Let your front thigh wrap open. 2 straight legs. Left hand on the block or floor behind your front foot. Just push down with your toes, down with your front foot's big toe. Wrap your top arm behind your back. Ease your right shoulder behind you. This will be just what you'd like, I bet. That's it. Now ease your top shoulder behind you. There you go. Try bringing breath into the pose. Reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Come up to standing. Face the Africa side of the room. You have straps, so grab your strap. Set yourself up so that as you hold your strap behind your back, your hands are pretty wide, but not so wide that they go all the way overhead like you're jump roping. Almost, but not quite. Feet parallel, lift up high, hinge forward, allow your hands to spill overhead. They shouldn't quite make it all the way around and over, but pretty close. With the strap, it just gives you access to it being a little different than it is if you're holding your own hands. Unlock your knees, soften them. Create a micro bend. Purposeful, steady breathing right here. Go ahead and just dare to be the leader with the breath. Just dare to bring a steady, really comforting breath into the room. Sometimes in life we can identify in a situation that there's something missing, some amount of leadership missing, but a lot of times we're afraid to be the ones to give it a startup, the ones to introduce into the space a new amount of leadership and upgrade. Go ahead and be the upgrade right here. Now strong legs, like they're squeezing together, like tweezers squeezing together, come up to standing. Keep hold of your strap, turn and face the front of the room, step your back foot in just enough that you can be in action in your feet and legs to work for square hips. Face the front of the room. Hold your strap in your right hand if you think you'll need it. Left or right arm down your back, left arm up your back, hold hands. Square hips, square hips. So work for square hips. Lift high, hinge forward. Hips back, chest forward. So right elbow in the air. Help Roxy switch. Left arm reach up your back. A lot of times what I need to self-assist in this pose is to bring weight into my front leg. Unlock your front knee. Yeah. That'll bring all new kinds of work into your body. Yeah, feel that? It's working. Leg is trembling. It's good work. Yes, good leadership on the breath. Okay, use your next inhale to lift you to standing. Let it be the power that drives you up. Then release the strap. Left hand to your hip, right arm in the air. Prepare for twisting triangle. Reach up very high and hinge forward. Right hand to the ground or the block. Keep your feet open wide enough that you're working your legs. If your legs are just stilts that you're hanging on, your stance should be a little longer. That's it. So that your feet are steering wheels. And your legs are powering the pose. They become grounding then, your legs. Every twist begins with anchoring and grounding. Then it goes to lengthening. She's really going that way with her feet and her hips. She's got to come back into center. The turning part's what comes last. That's where the ease is brought into the pose. Oh, that's nice. Nice length right here. Feel that difference? Really nice. Just take one more breath. You can bind your arm behind your back if you'd like. Go right around my arm. Yep, just slide over it. Yeah, there you go. Here's the last one. Stay for the whole exhale. And then hands to the floor. Nice. Downward facing dog. Whoa, exhale. To me, this is the part of the practice where I start to feel really good. Strong body now, focused breathing. Come into a high plank. Look forward, move into a low plank. Ride on your breath, inhale, high plank. Exhale, downward dog. You can use your knees on the ground for this if you want. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, low plank, like the low push-up. Inhale, high push-up. Exhale, downward dog. How little can you use your arms? Inhale, high push-up. Strong legs. Exhale, low push-up. Super strong legs, high. Downward facing dog. Inhale, high. Exhale, low. Inhale, high. Exhale, downward dog. One more time. Inhale, high. Exhale, low. Inhale, high. Exhale, downward facing dog. Come into a high plank and lower all the way down to your belly. With your legs, keep your toes turned under like crescent lunge and your legs really strong. It's a critical piece of every back bend. Then reach your arms out wide like airplane wings. Before you go anywhere, activate your abdominal muscles and pull them into your body so that you're stretching long. And then up you go. Head up, chest up, arms up. Keep your legs with your toes turned under and crescent lunge in your legs. Yes. Put weight in the ball of your baby toe. Yeah, just set them hip width and make your legs really an anchor. So that if you have your tailbone reaching down to your heels, you are able to stretch your chest far, far away from your feet, far forward in the room. Last breath here. Come down. Just check out your lower back right now. Do you have any sensation there? Listen to it. What's happening for your lower back? Is it crowded? Does it have nothing to say? Ideally, your lower back is not engaged in the back bends. I shouldn't say engaged about your muscles like that. It's not informed that anything is going on. It's not troubled by the back bend. Bend your knees, reach back. Actually, let's have some fun. I like when you all have straps. Get your strap. Again, in the category of might not do it on my own, but I'm surely always glad when I've done it. On your belly, flex both of your feet. Wrap the strap around both of your ankles. This might seem a little familiar. So now both ankles are inside of the strap. Use your breath. It should be an effort, not easy, to bring one elbow in and forward, and then the other elbow in and forward until your hands can touch. Keep your ankles flexed so your strap is very secure. Knees only hip width distance. Kick up to the ceiling with your feet like you're pressing your feet into the rafters of the ceiling. You've got it. That's it. Flex. If your arms are working really hard, stop working them. Instead, work your legs. If your back is feeling uncomfortable, it's fully aware this pose is going on, work your belly a little bit more. Make your body really long and come back down. That's nice. Wave your feet from side to side. Let's prepare to do it again. So undo the whole thing. No head starts here. No arms forward from the outset. Arms reach back, behind you. Find the strap. Hands to the straps. Flex your ankles. If you have a block near you, tuck the block between your knees in this medium sort of setting. Tuck the block between your knees and hug it the whole way through the pose. Hug. Flex. There you go. You're set up for magic to happen. You are standing in the space of the possibility of a miracle. Be available to it. Yes. Lots of work in your legs. If your arms just won't quite go forward, let your strap get a little bit longer. Yes, that's enough. Perfect. Feet, hands together overhead. Squeeze your block with your knees. Squeeze it. Tail to your knees, tailbone to your knees. Abdominal muscles in your body. Yes, where does your body require ease? That's the thing that's going to take you further in this pose. And come back down. That's a good one, huh? Wave your feet from side to side. Wave your feet from side to side. I half want to do another one, but whatever. Matt says, why not? Matt says, why not? You're going to find your wheel pose is greatly enhanced by this practice. Let's do it one more time. Block between your knees. Block between your knees. I know, it's a good day to be in yoga, right, Roxy? Aren't you glad Marcy brought you for the first time? What else did you expect of her? I'm afraid of going to Marcy's spinning class. Do you know that Marcy and her husband own a gym in Lidditz called Tim's Gym? And she teaches spinning to people and kills them every morning. Feet up to the ceiling. Flex your ankles. Lasso your ankles. You need a little help getting around your ankles? Here you go. Now flex your feet. Flex your feet. Knees pretty close together. The block is there to keep your knees trained to where they belong. That's it. Kick. You've got it. Flex your feet. Spread your toes open. You've got it. Nice, Karen. Kick up. Less work from your arms. More work in your legs. Unsqueeze your cheeks. Just unsqueeze your cheeks. Let the smile of your tush get very broad. Yeah, like that. Oh, there you go, Michelle. Okay, come down. That was an extra one for Matt, who's not even doing it right now. Wave your feet from side to side. All right, toes turned under, hands on the floor underneath of your elbows. Upward facing dog with your toes turned under and your legs really, really strong. You'll have more access to this back bend because hopefully your legs in this position are helping to keep your hips wide so that your tailbone can descend to your heels. Can you create the action of tailbone toward your heels and the pit of your belly, your lowest abdominal muscles lifting up and stretching? Soften your elbows, bend them, chest forward, bend them a little more, chest forward, look up, chest up, chest up, chest up, downward dog. I know, it was a good one. I gotta get on the move up here. Camel pose. Camel pose, kneel down. Turn your toes under. What did you say? Hands on your lower back, tail down, chest up, chin in, head back, or you could just keep your chin to your chest, camel pose. It's a back bend, so the first thing to establish is foundation. What has you feeling secure? Stand on your knees. What has you secure? Your toes on the ground, your knees on the ground. Then strong legs, next piece of a back bend. Long waist with a neutral pelvis, next really critical piece. Then is how much will your chest expand. Hands to your feet if it's possible. Not a necessity, just something some need and others don't. Breathe. This foot is placed right in the middle of her, oh yeah, it's gotta work up here. Is it in the right spot, Marcy? Okay. How do you come out of the pose? By lifting up and out. Hands to the floor, downward dog. Nice work, downward dog. Move through your hands and sit down. You can jump, crawl, feet in front of you, Dandasana, toes up to the ceiling. You want to just stuff all your business under there and stretch it behind you. Can you really get your sitting bones to move back? So you're really sitting up tall, really tall as you can be. And if you find tall, you don't quite feel like you can create tall, just soften your knees. Arms forward. You can hug your arm bones to the back of your body, get even taller. Stay as long as you can be, then start to roll down. I like to think about my hips in the back being really wide so my tailbone can move between them. All the way down on your back, pull the pit of your belly in, yes. That's it, shoulders down. Yes, good job, all the way down. So we did a lot of back bends already, but I don't want to skip out on your wheel poses. We'll do two. You choose if it's gonna be bridge pose or wheel pose. So I prefer to start from bridge, bend your knees, come up into bridge pose. That's a sliding board from your knees to your face, so lift up your tush and your ribs. Once you set that up with your feet directly under your knees and 2 feet pressing strong into the floor, fingertips to the ceiling. Flex your wrists, put your hands on the floor under your shoulders. Set them wide, your hands. Then up you go into wheel pose. So stay in bridge, pressing with your hands, or go up into wheel pose. All the way up. We'll take 8 breaths here together, strong feet. 7 more breaths, strong feet, 6, 5, 4, keep thinking of the smile across the cheeks in the back bottom getting broad. Last breath here, chest to the wall you're looking at, and come down. Take 1 deep breath in, and exhale. Here's our second set. Set it up, start from bridge. Up into the bridge pose first. Set your hands for wheel. Stand strong in your legs. You could use a strap mat to teach her to stand out of the pose. Lasso under her hips. Yep. You'll stand back here in warrior 1, pulling the strap, and you'll use the strap to help her toward your face. And then she'll know to just come up, hands to prayer, head last, and then it goes right down here. Help her down. You can stay back out of her space, and then bend your knees and go. And she should be able to hang on this. Yeah, that's it, Matt. And let her have some more. Yep, and let her go up and down a couple times. How are you doing? It's like vacation. Come on back down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet together, knees open. You look like your back is feeling fragile today. You okay? A little twingy? Just be still right now. This is a great spot in the practice for very intent listening. You don't have to decide if the pose was right or wrong. Whatever just happened was the right pose. And now you at first, before you fix anything, are just in listening to hear what your body wants to teach you. This is where the real learning is, in a spot like this. And then your body will have said to you, so some of you come out of back bends and you're a little panicky in your lower back and you want to fix that right away. Or you're panicky in your wrists. A lot of times if you're just still and you listen, you'll discover everything's okay. Sometimes we react a little bit too quickly and we need to pause and be in choice. Now you can choose. What does your body need? You might want to hug your knees into your chest. You might want to roll your wrists now. Give your knees a hug. Give your knees a hug. Set your knees up like tabletop. So your knees are on top of your hips, not closer to your face than your hips. Your feet are flexed and they look like they could be standing on the brick wall in front. So when your knees are on top of your hips, you'll experience that your lower belly muscles kick in a little bit. They start to work a bit. Take a deep breath in, and as you blow out, just suck all of your abdominal muscles down to your spine. Now, fingertips behind your head. Take a breath in. As you exhale, lift your head and your shoulders up. Look at your belly and watch it sink down. That's it. Stretch your right leg to the wall in front of you like you together are going to push the bricks out of the room. Like really stretch it. Then switch sides. One knee can bend and stretch your left leg so straight. Back and forth like that. Go back and forth and switch sides. Now, you can take opposite elbow to a bending knee. Right elbow to your left knee. Move your legs slowly, like they're pushing through mud. Are you ready? We'll do 20 of these, but we're going to do slow-mo ones. Ready? It's like the record's on the wrong speed. 1, 2, 3, go slower, 4, 5, wake up your toes, 6, go slower, I'm serious, 7, 8, 9, 10, active feet, 11, 12, 13, don't let me win, 14, 15, you're almost there, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Hug your knees into your chest. Stretch your whole body long and straight. Straight on the mat, stretch it out. I think slow is way worse than fast. Stretch it out. Whole body long. Stretch. That's it. Stretch your whole body long. Plow pose. Feet overhead for plow pose. You know that you're welcome to create a platform for yourself by grabbing one of our blanket props or folding your mat up into quarters. And a little reminder is, if you want help with that, you can just raise your hand, but your head hangs off of it and your shoulders are on it. Keep an inward bending curve to the back of your neck. So your neck has a graceful little curve into your body. Rock side to side and really stand on your shoulders. You could be flat on your back with your legs straight up in the air. Shoulder stand if you're ready for it. Plow pose if you prefer to stay there. First few breaths, especially these poses toward the end of class that we tend to hold a little more time than we do earlier on in the practice. Toward the end, take a couple of breaths to sort things out. Make choices about how you'll position your foundation, where you'll fortify the pose. And then the rigor of the pose is stillness so that your listening can be very deep. Listening for the teacher inside of you to say, could use a little more space right here. And then you can respond. It's one of the funny things I've learned in the years of practicing and teaching yoga is there was a big hurdle at first to just get to the listening part. And the mat seems like such an accomplishment. It can be really a place where people just languish for the rest of their yoga days, just in listening, because it is a huge accomplishment. But then there are some pieces that are intended to come after listening. Responsibility and action. So you listen, and your body's telling you some things. My body's got a lot to say in a plow pose and a shoulder stand. So that's nice to get the information, but then responsibility says, take the appropriate action. You know the rigor of the pose is stillness, but there are appropriate actions. You might need more strength, and quite possibly there are a lot of places that you could have more ease. It's a practice that's about balancing effort and ease. It's not just about putting in more effort, more the whole practice. It's about listening, looking for where more ease is required, where more effort is required, and balancing the two. From shoulder stand, you can go to plow pose. From plow pose, the choice next is deaf man's pose, so bend your knees around your ears, reach for your feet. Now palms on the floor behind you, feet overhead for as long as is possible. Come rolling out of the pose, just one bone at a time. One bone at a time. Go as slowly as you can. Can you hear for each one of your ribs to touch the mat in their own time? Move down through the different levels of strength in your abdomen, in your torso. Relax, soften your skin and your face and your shoulders, your inner shoulders. Hug your knees into your chest. Knees into your chest. Drop your knees to one side and look and reach to the other side. You can switch sides. These last few poses that we'll do before Shavasana, consider these poses of gratitude, of ease. Come back to the center. Set your legs up the way you do a bridge pose, so feet flat on the floor underneath of your knees. You can go ahead and use your eye towels. We're not quite at Shavasana, just one more thing, but you'll be fine with your eye towel. Step your right foot off of your mat to the right. Drop your right knee down into your center line so that you create a 90-degree angle with your right leg. Yep. An inner thigh rotation. Yeah, one side at a time. I'll just set you up a little differently here. Keep working with the pit of your belly, drawing it in and up so your pelvis remains as close to neutral as possible. Intensify the pose by adding your left ankle to your right thigh and drop your left knee down to the floor. It will intensify the inward rotation of your thigh bone. Yes, your right hip will lift up off of the ground. So I'm not pushing her that way. I'm going in, down, and over. I'm going to step over you, Marcy. I would not normally do that. Yeah, don't look at my butt. Put your hand on mine and feel where my hand I want. Yeah, and your instinct to roll the thigh in is correct. Okay. You can roll your thigh in and I can hold this. You can go. Okay, come out of that side. Let's switch sides. Switch sides. It's just not a direction that we oftentimes increase in our bodies, and so much relief in doing it. So create 90-degree angle in your knee and in your ankle, and let your body grow accustomed to that for a breath or two. In any hip opener, a key point to notice is that there's not any discomfort in your knees. We're working on your hips right now. So if you experience even tingling in your knee, just raise your hand and we'll help you with the alignment. This knee's feeling it? Do you still feel it? A little bit better or still in your knee? How's this better? Okay. You may not want to intensify the pose. Some of you will. Add your right ankle on your left thigh. And then drop your right knee down toward the ground. Keep utilizing your lowest abdominal muscles to stabilize your pelvis, to give as little as possible to the urge to roll onto your right hip. Some of that will happen, but as little as possible. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a sigh right now can just be the right tool, a really soft sigh. Even breathing pattern here at the end is moving from the Ujjayi breath we use to build an inner fire through the practice back toward an everyday breath that's informed by the Ujjayi breath. A long exhale, a lot of ease. Okay, you can bring yourself out, Shavasana. Stretch your legs long, open your feet wide. Make sure your lower back feels really like it's been supported. Tail down to your heels in Shavasana. Then arms wide with your palms facing to the ceiling. That will help to set your shoulder blades. So arms down by your side and wide. Palms facing up to the ceiling. There you go. There's a cool eye towel nearby you, and you're welcome to use that. So do what you need to do in these first few breaths to create your pose. Once your pose is customized to what your inner teacher tells you is the right pose right now, then the next step of the pose is the rigor part, stillness. The rigor of stillness. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth. Allow the weight of your whole body to settle into the floor. Know that We will take care of you until the very end of practice. I used to worry like everybody's going to get up and leave and I'll be the only one left lying here. Just close your eyes and be at ease. You have nothing left to do. I used to hear teachers tell me to observe my thoughts, not get connected or attached to things, and I couldn't really get a grip on what that meant to do. And it wasn't until it occurred to me, oh, the thoughts are not going away. Like the grass is still growing, the air is still blowing, all that's still happening. I just have some space between me and it, and that gives me the opportunity that I don't have to even have the urge to respond. Take a deep breath in and exhale through your mouth. Inhale, and as you exhale, squeeze your fingers on your toes. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll to your side. With your eyes closed, bring yourselves up into a sitting position and create the position so that you're sitting tall in your spine. Let your body be a measure. As you shape it up, you choose your alignment and your position. Let it be a measure of your true north, your center. Inhale and sweep your arms overhead. Exhale and bring your hands into prayer position at your heart and pause. From the space that you the teacher, created, set an intention for the rest of your day. And one more time, we'll chant Om together. Take a deep breath in. Inhale and exhale through your mouth. Namaste. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for coming. You are welcome to stay for the restorative class. It starts in 15 minutes. If you choose to do that, just add your name to the attendance sheet. If you have any questions about upcoming programs, your practice, feel free to ask myself or any of our assistants. Thank you to all of you for helping us through the practice. Have a great day.